Morning, everybody. As said, yeah, we're exploring in northwestern Ontario, an emerging gold district. Some quick forward-looking statements. So we have two projects, both 100% owned, the Huronian Gold Project and the Bluff Point Gold Project. We're focusing on the Huronian project currently, and I'll concentrate the talk on that. There's some market cap information, 94 million shares outstanding, ballpark, 106 fully diluted. We've got about $1 million cash and cash equivalents, shares in First Mining, treasury metals that we have in the till. Trading at 3-4 cents. Good shareholders. We've got lots of high net worth investors, family and friends. Management and insiders own 10%. I own 6 million shares myself, so committed to the company for sure. There's the team. So led by myself, I'm a geologist with 25 years experience. Worked for Teck, Placer, Gold Corp way back when. President, founding partner of Fladgate Exploration Consulting, one of the bigger exploration consulting firms in Ontario. Team's rounded out by John DaCosta and Yana in Vancouver, who are accountants and take care of the books and whatnot. And then Catlin Jeffs and Rodney, who are geos and round out the team. So there's northwestern Ontario. Our Bluff Point project, which I will just briefly touch on right here. It's a granite-hosted, more of a greenfields target. It's in the center of the project area or the district, and there's Huronian down the south, east, sort of about 100 kilometers west of Thunder Bay, just south of the Trans-Canada Highway. So there's some of the sort of advanced exploration and development projects in the area. New Gold with their operating Rainy River mine, the rest in various stages of advanced X and development. And then particular to note is the Moss Lake project, which is right next door to us, which I will touch on a bit further. So there's a zoom in of the project area, Huronian in blue, 100% owned, is about 4,600 hectares. Has a past producer, produced in the 30s, about 30,000 ounces gold, 170,000 ounces of silver. Also has an historic resource that was done in '98, about 500,000 ounces at 14-ish grams. So that's, those two things sort of really attracted us to the project. Obviously, exploring in the shadow of a head frame and with an historic resource on there showing the potential. And then the red right next door is the Moss Lake project. Gold Shore Resources has it. They just purchased it off of Wesdome back in 2021. They just put out a 43-101 resource, just over 4 million ounces at a gram. So yeah, good area, good district to be working in. Lots of good news coming out of that. So just a quick little history of the project. So it was actually northwestern Ontario's first gold mine, discovered in 1871. As I mentioned, commercial production in the 30s. Sort of got kicked around through the 80s and 90s. It was the project area, as you saw it in the previous slide, was actually made up of 14 different parcels. And so Paley Gold put the package together in the 90s. Market fell out from underneath them for reasons that most of us probably know in '97. So they never really got any traction on the project, and it sort of got kicked around again in the 2000s and had some complicated ownership issues. So I thought, oh, well, that'll be fun. Let's see if we can deal with that in 2016. So managed to cut a deal and got the project for 4 million shares, 100%. Had to top up some NSRs on the project, 2.5% in the historic mine area and 2% in the sort of the north and south. So we spent the time, getting the data into digital format. It was mostly paper, ground truthing a lot of the stuff. We did some geophysics, we did lots of mapping and trenching, really try to figure out what was going on. Kicked off the drill program in 2020, and by the end of 22, we've drilled just shy of 36,000 meters. So there's a little bit more details on the historic resource. Again, disclaimers and all, don't take it as 43-101 compliant for sure, but certainly a good indicator of what's there. As I said, just over 500,000 ounces at ballpark 14, 15 grams. And then there's the details on the Moss Lake gold deposit right next door. 4.17 million ounces at 1.1 grams, but that also includes a high-grade portion of 2.2 million ounces at 2 grams. So they've got some high grade in their project as well. And then, as you can see, the geology runs onto the southern part of our project. We've done some work down there. We drilled some holes right at the end of 22 just to sort of get a feel of what was going on, because there's not a lot of outcrop down there. We got some good results, so we think we're onto something. And then we flew geophysics in late summer, fall of last year. Same geophysics that MAG and NUTEM that Goldshore used to very good success in 21 to expand that resource. Their previous historic resource was 3 million ounces, and they bumped it up to 4 just on a 1 year's worth of drilling. So we think this will be really key in helping us target not only in the south, flexures in the geology and dilation zones, but also extensions in the north in that Huronian mine area. So there's a zoom in of the historic mine area with all the various zones in fairly close proximity. You can see, basically in a kilometer. Lots of strike extent down from McKellar and then to the southwest, and lots of strike extent on all the zones running up to the northeast. So as I said, multiple zones, Huronian zones, the historically mined zone, buried under waste rock. We dug it out in 2020 just to get some eyes on it, and each of those benches essentially is a vein. So the zone is 10-ish meters wide, multiple veins throughout it, lots of potential. So our thesis on the Huronian zone itself was, the old timers just mined out the 1 meters stopes essentially. They took the best vein out of all these multiple veins in this 10-meter wide zone. So we thought there was a lot of remnant mineralization potential in and amongst the stopes, and plus we would drill it to get a feel of what the mineralization was in the on the zone, so we can better target on strike and down dip and down plunge. So lots of good results. 16 grams over 4 meters, 10 over 2, 13 over 3. I'm rounding a bit, but yeah. So we proved the thesis. We got a good handle on it. There's lots of potential. The mine only went down to 300-ish meters. We've drilled down to just about that level, a little bit deeper, but just getting started on that. But we proved the thesis up, proved the potential, so we're quite pleased with that. I just like this shot just because it shows that drone that took the shot is basically hovering right over the old shafts on the Huronian zone. You can see one of the Fisher North zone and then the Fisher zone, so all in close proximity. So there's the Fisher zone. So Fisher, when we picked up the project, the drilling was sort of 100 meters by 100 meters. That was it. So we've expanded the zone. We've got it down, 700 meters. We've got it down to 200 meters depth. Lots of visible gold throughout it. Lots of continuity. Some very good intercepts. I always use the sort of 6 grams over 6 meters, 5 grams over 5 meters as my ballpark sort of what I think that potential is, and that's pretty typical of the intercept. Lots of high grade in it as well, and then you get these blowouts every once in a while where you get a kink in the zone, a fold, a little dilation. We call them treasure boxes. 6 grams over 45 meters it blows out, or 16 grams over 5 meters. So one of the accomplishments, we sort of started figuring out what was going on with all the zones in the general mine area, and we call them the fissure area zones now. Lots of subzones in the hanging wall and the footwall. You can see the scale bar there. It's only 100 meters, all in close proximity, and lending itself to efficient drilling. As we step back on the fissure to drill a little bit deeper, we start intercepting new zones in the footwall, and as we step back to drill Huronian, we end up running through multiple zones. So yeah, I mean we can hit 2, 3, 4 zones sometimes in one drill hole. So and that obviously shows that eventually the economics, potential economics down the road, things in close proximity. A little gratuitous shot of some drill core, but yeah, pretty distinct zones, distinct alteration, sericite, anchorite, quartz veining and flooding, a little bit of VG every once in a while. So McKellar this is a good shot because it shows that width, that 10-meter wide sort of zone. It's essentially the southwest strike extent of Huronian, and we've been working hard stepping out. Again, that zone was only 100 meters by 100 meters drilled off when we acquired it. We've got it to over 1,200 meters now, down to about 150 depth, and there's still kilometers left to go. So we think there's a lot of potential, and depth potential. We've barely scratched the surface. And there's a quick little shot of that zone, sort of plan map and what we've drilled. So lots of space to fill in going forward, and there's some more gratuitous core shots. Obviously, the very similar alteration package, distinct. So when you hit it, you hit it. So in summary, we've had continued drilling success on all the zones, fissure, all the fissure area zones, McKellar as well. Walking that out to over a kilometer now, and still multiple kilometers of target potential. Huronian, we've proved up that remnant resource potential in the workings area. We've just started extending it down plunge, and we're better understanding what's going on there, so we can start looking for new shoots up strike on the Huronian zone. So as I said, we've completed about 36,000 meters of drilling. We'll continue along that path in 23, expanding all those zones, looking for new mineralized structures and extensions. And then we'll also start working in the southern part, looking for a strike extent mineralization of the Gold Shores Moss Lake gold deposit. And that's about it. Thank you very much.